Hey, what's going on, everyone? Moose here, Airguns of Michigan, and today I want to talk about something that is really kind of part of this impact journey that we're on. But this really pertains to all air guns, and that is barrel harmonics. And I know you guys have seen 100 videos on barrel harmonics, but I want to give a little bit more of an in-depth understanding of what barrel harmonics are, what can affect barrel harmonics, and how we can try to combat harmonics. Some harmonics aren't necessarily bad, but the majority of them are. So the first thing that we want to talk about, and I'm going to go to the whiteboard here, and I know you guys have seen this before, but we're going to talk about barrel harmonics. You'll have to excuse my drawing, so it is what it is. But we're going to pretend that this is a barrel. Any barrel. Doesn't make any difference. And yes, this barrel happens to be threaded 1/2 UNF for a moderator. In an air gun, you're going to have a port down at the back of the barrel. This is where whatever gun you're shooting has stored air. This works off your valve system. So when you pull your trigger, your valve opens. You have some kind of little portway here, and air travels through your port. Now, depending upon how much air is in this reservoir or how much air you're allowing through this reservoir, however that is, your tuning, your gun is going to be different than everybody else's. But in general, it all works the same. You have stored energy or air that is released through a port down your barrel and pushing a projectile down the barrel. Now, if you guys have any experience with tuning, you'll know that, especially, for example, a 22 caliber air gun that's regulated, that's shooting at a slower speed. And let's just assume that we're using Hades for the time being. 15.89 grains, we're going to shove them down a barrel to X speed, whatever speed that is, and to obtain whatever we're obtaining. So in this model, if we assume that we have a regulated air gun, we can turn that air down so that in this energy saver, instead of, a super high amount of air, let's just say that we're running 80 bar. That's going to be a pretty short and not too disruptive amount of air traveling through our barrel, creating those harmonics. So up here at 80 bar, and harmonics, just so we know, is the amount of flex in the barrel, right? Everybody's talked about it, anoids and denoids or whatever they're called, but it creates a wave. Right? So 80 bar might have a wave that looks like similar to that. If we, let's say, instead of 15.89s, now all of a sudden in a 22 caliber, we want to shoot 40 grain slugs, right? So 80 bar for 15.89, let's say 160 bar, or let's say 165 bar. 165 bar for 40 grain. We're going to be shoving an immense amount of air down this barrel. So at 165 bar, our wave through our barrel, right, our harmonic might be like this. Okay? Now, depending upon where the pellet leaves the barrel, if we can imagine a straight line through this, if we can get that pellet to leave the barrel in the middle of that when the barrel is back to flat, instead of going up and down, we've achieved pretty decent stuff. So how do we combat this arc, or these highs and lows, these waves down a barrel? Here's one thing that can happen. This is a FX impact barrel. I'm just going to stick it in the vise. Once again, YouTube, I appreciate what you guys do. I am not modifying a gun. There is no gun present. This is simply a barrel. Everything is absolutely safe. We can add moderators to our air gun, and these are just a few of the ones that I have. There's my Tonto, Tatsu, and another 0 dB. Now I have other moderators as well. I have 0 dBs that are half this size. I have a Ronin that's about 4 times as big as that. I've got other 0 dBs as well. I've got some other manufacturers as well. But the reason I'm doing that is to show you guys, by adding a moderator to the end of our airgun barrel. Once again, YouTube, I'm not modifying a gun. These are just accessories on a barrel, no gun involved. We are adding weight to this barrel. No matter how insignificant this weight is to me and you, it is significant to this barrel. So by adding a moderator, we are changing the harmonic. Let's just assume that we're still shooting this 165 bar. Our new harmonic might look, because of adding the moderator, and I don't know exactly what it is, guys, I'm just trying to explain, it might look a little more pronounced. Let's go up here. So I don't know exactly, but I can tell you that by changing moderators on a gun that's already tuned, I can change my point of impact. I can change my group size by just simply going with a smaller moderator or a larger moderator. It makes no difference. But this just affected the moderation in this barrel. So a lot of times people will ask me, Moose, what moderator do you recommend? Well, to be quite honest, you almost need a wide variety of moderators. Because this 0 dB that I shoot on my 30 cal bench rest gun might not function as well as this 0 dB moderator, or this Tonto, or this Tatsu, or my Ronin. We don't know, right? We have to trial and error them. So it's certainly something that I recommend to people, and it's not a trial and error like, well, you shoot that on your 30 cal bench rest gun, so that's what I want to shoot. No, that's not really true, because my tune and your tune are completely different. My harmonics in my barrel are not the same as your harmonics in your barrel. So there's different ways also that we can combat that, right? And one way is we can remove our shroud and we can add the barrel tuner kit from FX. We can push this in there. We can turn that on. And now we have this wonderful little weight at the end of our barrel that we can dial to help get this line to look like that line. You're always going to have some harmonics in your barrel. Doesn't matter what you do, you're always going to have something. Every air gun does. However, the flatter that we can get that harmonic wave, the better off we're going to be. So we can add this, then we can add our moderator back onto the end of it. And then what we can start doing is shooting groups and tuning our weight here at the end to get this red wave or this black wave to look more like the green wave. Now there's another step, and this is why I brought this up. You have the tension barrel. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that have made their own tension barrels, and some of them are really quite genius. They really truly are. But in essence, what you're doing is you're putting tension, pulling tension on this liner from one end to the other to keep that barrel from flexing as much as it does. It'll come out a little more, you know, flat. Another thing that people do as well is the carbon fiber sleeves. I do not think that I have one on this gun, but you can add a carbon fiber sleeve in here. Now, once again, this does apply to all air guns. It doesn't really matter what barrel you have. By adding something to the end of it, you are in essence changing the harmonics in that barrel. Now, I know there's going to be people out there that say, no, man, my gun's got a Lothar Walther, or my gun's got a TJ. No, I understand. And granted, it may not be as abrupt as like the red line back there, but everybody has harmonics. And by changing the barrel weight with a moderator, you are in essence changing your harmonics. The more air that you try to rush through a barrel, the more disruptive your harmonics are going to be. If you're shooting a nice soft, you know, you're shooting an 18, you know, grain pellet at, you know, 880 feet per second, it's nowhere near going to be as disruptive as if you're shooting a 25-39 at 1,050 feet per second. So just something to keep in mind. Like I said, by adding these moderators, we are in essence changing the harmonics in our barrels. So I hope that kind of gives everybody a little bit of a better understanding of barrel harmonics. The tension barrel, we're still waiting on ours from FX. Once we get that, then we're going to go back into that and dive in a little bit more. I did actually think about trying out the barrel tuning kit just to see, you know, how it does. And you know, it seems to me that I'm not really sure what to think of the harmonic tuner. It seemed a little short-lived. It really did. Seems like it just came out and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we got a tension barrel. So I don't really know why. Never really played with it. I actually got it from a buddy of mine, and I figured I would throw it on the 22 cal impact and see what we can't do. Just to see about, you know, better harmonics, tighter groups. So we're going to throw that on there, see what happens. But in essence, I think the tension barrel is really going to be the key to, you know, shooting those heavy grain slugs at a massive distance. So we will definitely figure that out, and we're going to talk more about moderators and stuff along with those videos, and we're going to try different moderators as well. It's another thing that I wanted to point out. You know, listen, I get it. Everybody out there loves Ronins. I love my Ronin. It's super quiet. But at the end of the day, if this Tatsu outperforms that Ronin, guess what's going on that gun? The Tatsu. If this 0dB outperforms the Tatsu, guess what's going on the gun? The 0dB. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about accuracy. And, you know, everybody's accuracy is a different story. And I get it. I really, truly do. You know, what one person thinks is accurate may not be the same that another person thinks. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys have any questions, drop them down below. I'll do my best to answer them. If for some reason I can't answer them, somebody will. So, with that being said, thanks again for joining, guys. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. It doesn't cost you a darn thing to do it. It just helps me out a little bit. And for all you Karens out there, keep giving it a thumbs down. It's not making any difference. I'm growing leaps and bounds, even with you watching my videos. So, thank you very much. Have a great day. Be good to each other. God bless.